This video shows some footage from a small private session I taught in Germany for those wishing to become certified in my methods. In this section I was explaining the nature of karate throwing by comparing it to the throwing methods of judo. The key point was that the throws of karate and judo are not equivalent. Judo has throwing as a primary method, and hence the throwing of judo is developed to a far higher degree. In karate, throwing is very much a support method, and hence less time is given to its practice. Judoka tend to focus on throwing other expert throwers in one-on-one consensual fights. Karateka, or at least traditional self-defense focused karateka, focus on keeping themselves safe when faced with non-consensual violence from the criminal fraternity. This leads to a huge difference tactically as well as differences in technical proficiency. For the judoka, the throw is the ultimate goal, so they will commit to the throw in a way that often results in both persons ending up on the floor. This is perfect for the judoka and makes for highly effective throws. However, such commitment would be inappropriate in a self-defense context where there is the strong possibility of third parties. The ground should never be sought and should be avoided at all costs because third parties can easily strike and stab you when you are in this vulnerable position. In judo matches, a scoring throw will either end the bout or result in a stoppage and restart while a score is awarded. For the karateka, the fight would not be over, and hence tactical positioning needs to be factored in. In addition to avoiding going to the floor, it can be helpful to have the recipient of the throw land on their side, such that the thrower is effectively behind them, in order to limit the recipient's options and to make the landing of strikes simpler. In judo, they would wish their opponent to land on their back in order to score maximum points. For the karateka, striking is always prioritised, such that a throw is a technique of opportunity. We don't strike to set up throws, we strike to knock the enemy out. And if the strike is unsuccessful in that regard, we can capitalise on the resulting loss of balance and then throw. The karateka would not seek the throw in the first instance, as a judoka would. There are many other differences we could discuss, but the key point is that the goal will always dictate the method. You can never divorce method from context. Karateka also need to be clear that their goal is to have a set of basic throws that can be used to support striking should it be necessary in a self-protection context. Judoka, on the other hand, are expert throwers looking to out-throw other expert throwers. There is therefore a big difference in the level of skill reached and the way in which the throwing methods of both arts would be applied.
I've got a koshi called Tanya Toshi, which is confusing because there's another judo throw called Tanya Toshi, which means valley drop. So a funakoshi's 9 throws in Karate Dokyo Han. This is one of the 9 that he shows, right? So if we do it, we'll do it in a very kind of formal kind of way. So if you stand there, feet side by side. So the general rule is of throwing as well is, as you all know, you throw at 90 degrees to the line of the feet as far as that's possible, right? Or as close to it as you can get. So if I get Nick to stand with his feet side by side, it makes it easier to practice because I'm just throwing straight in front. If Nick had that foot back there, I'd need to throw him this way when I moved in for the throw. You know, so anyway, so the standard is, again, in some ways very similar. So the foot will go across, I'll turn and pull him towards him, think pin hand go down, I'll step across from there, I'll turn around as my arm goes underneath and I get to here. So I'm loading him onto my hips. Right, at this point there, that will be exactly the same as they were doing in judo. Right, in the karate, and then from there again, we would lift, throw him over, we would impact. That would be our version of the throw, right? I'm going to drop and whip, so you need to keep your head tucked in on this one, Nick, alright? I'll do it relatively slowly so everyone can see anyway. The judo version of the throw. So again, if you have the feet side by side. The modern Nippon Seoi-nage, they would never, or very rarely would they do it like that. Because they don't care about follow-up strike and they don't care about going to the ground. If you watch competitive judo footage, it's very rare you'll see someone standing up when they finish. So there's, you know, the same start will be more or less the same. The difference is they would then do this. Right? So, you know, I'm going to drop down, and what that does is, I mean, if you compare the two, that second one's a stronger throw. Yeah. Because what it is on the first one, I hold my rotation halfway through. Because I want to stay upright. So what I do is I turn in, I get into position to do my throw, you know, so I'm there, and I kind of look, and I'll turn a little bit, but I'll stop here. Because I don't want to go all the way over. Now that, if I was to try that against a judo player, he'd kill it. You know, the effectively go, there's not enough rotation there to out-throw me as a good thrower. So the judo guy goes, it's not enough for me to go with this much rotation, I need to do this much rotation. You know, so rotation is the becomes a primary concept, and stability is irrelevant. So there's one way which is different. If you take another one, right? Let's take another one of Funakoshi's. So what Funakoshi calls the top of the folding screen. Yeah, which everyone else would call Osotogami. So you're going past your partner and putting your leg behind to reap it back. Right? So karate version, remaining upright is a big thing, and we can impact. So the way Funakoshi does it, the judo one would use the gi to break balance. When Funakoshi does it, he goes bang and he palm heels him. So you see how the setup's different. That to us is a better way to break balance. You're careful, but you've got to watch now is that his head doesn't hit the floor as you push. Right? So move through, pull it, that's the top of the folding screen, a la Gichin Funakoshi. Again, in judo, for those that have done it, the first version of it you'll learn, they actually step right past and kneel down on it. You know what I mean? Because again, it's like as much drive as you can get. First version of the throw you learn is that. And again, it's a harder throw. Even when we're doing it, gently, we're just walking through, it's a harder throw. But self-defense wise, it's tactically wrong because you end up on the floor. So that kind of makes sense. It's starting to give us how some of them are different. So up until that point, there's a lot of crossover here. I've broken balance, the leg's behind, that's pretty much the same. The difference is I've used striking to break it, so that's one difference we've got. The other difference is I will do my upright to remain upright, utmost to remain upright. Whereas in judo, they have absolutely no problem with just taking it through and just drive, taking them all the way over, whichever throw it is. Again, you watch competitive judo 90% of the time, well more than that, most of the time, almost all the time, when they throw, both people end up on the floor. Trying to think of a couple of other examples. Another one that's commonly used in judo is like, the gaki throws, the hooking throws. I'm just going to put my leg in here. So again, you see throws like this, which is, in judo, really good throw. Takes a guy over really nicely. I like that one. It's one I like using in play. Again, self-defense wise, you can see the big problem with it. I'm down on the ground and so's he. So it's another way in which they're different. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. Is that kind of, people just start to say, I get why you would think they were similar, because big chunks of it are, but in level of expertise, they're higher. They don't use strikes to set them up, and they don't value stability in the way that we do. They value the throw more, so they tend to drive into things a lot more, which is perfect for what they want to do. So what I'd like to have a go at, let's do, we'll just do a few quick throws to get the examples of them. So we'll start with the first one. Grip, grab the back of the neck. You could palm heel, but in practice that can be quite dangerous. So we just kind of leave that out. Or we symbolise it and then go back to doing this. Keep hold of the partner's head so when they drop, you're keeping their head upright. When you do the throw, again, 90 degrees to the line of the feet. So what I don't want to be doing is trying to throw him this way, because he won't go. What I need to do is I need to drive him backwards along that line. What I also need to do is I need the balance broken. So at this point, Nick's leaning backwards and I'm leaning forwards. So when you do this throw, you never want to do it like this. Because all it takes, Nick pulls his leg back then and I go. So I need to make sure I'm there. So it's all the way over. And that reap is just a little tap. When karateka first learn this, they often think of it as a kick. So you'll get people going. And it doesn't work very well. Most of the throw is this. See, I haven't even not put my leg in there. See, Nick's already off balance. And then there's just that little knock at the end to take him over. So the leg puts the last 10-15% there. And then we'll pull up on the arm, so I've got a clean shot of the head. I impact and I move. Is it okay to give that one a go? So and if you want to, just have a go at the dropping version, which is common in the judo, is to step right past it and then they just continue on. So it's the dropping version. Okay. Yep.